Hello, beautiful people. Oh, I'm so glad we're here again today, another Tuesday at 2 Arizona time. And thank you for joining me today. Let's see if we have anyone in the chat. Course Corp, I think. Can't wait. Glad to have you here. Nan, hi, Nan. So hi, both of you, and anyone else that's watching that isn't commenting. We welcome all of you, and I appreciate you coming here. We're going to get started in just a minute. Oh, hi, Lisa. Good to see you here. So good. Yep. And was that a sneeze? Oh, God bless you. Okay.
Thank you.
So I wanted to talk today about my 6-week update on Dr. Brooke Goldner's protocol, and I have done it. This is finishing up week 6, so tomorrow starts week 7. Hi, Jill. Great to have you here. And so I just wanted to, talk about my experience. And so I'd love to also hear from you guys. So the last time that I was on here that I spoke about where I was in my update was the end of my 3 weeks. And if you missed that, you can watch the replay under lives. And since then, I've continued to be very successful with her protocol, I think, learning along the way. And I'm really excited to share my progress as I continue through. So back here, I'll show you. Here's my smoothie. I got it tucked away. And right over there is a water. So I'll show you. And that's like a big portion of what we do here besides eating raw. And so I wanted to ask everyone a question here, whether you're watching it live or the replay. And I'd like to know has anyone here, are you doing Dr. Brooke Goldner's protocol, or have you done it before? And if so, what are you trying to accomplish with that? Or what did you try to accomplish with that? So have you done it? And then I'd love to hear any feedback about how it went. So I'll give you a minute to do that. And everybody's saying hi. Hey, there's plant-powered peddler Janet. Hey. To everyone, I say hello also. And it's so good to have everyone here. So while you guys hopefully will offer some kind of comment about that, and you know what, maybe you haven't, that's fine. Have you ever thought about it? I'd love to hear like any of those kind of combinations. And so while we're waiting for that, I just want to recap. And of course, if you see me looking down, it's because I want to make sure that we're on track, and I do have notes. And here we go. So we have plant-powered peddler Janet. Yes. And it's clearing her skin. And that is awesome. It is an amazing thing what food can do for us, right? Because she had some issues on her skin, and they didn't really know what it was. And so I'm glad to hear that. And Janet from Plant Powered Peddler has done some raw with me in the past before, and that's been fun. So let's see. Lisa says, I'm planning to try her protocol in the spring. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting that people would pick or choose a season. And I get that, because the first time that I tried just going raw, not doing her protocol, it was, I think, summer. And I thought, oh, in the winter, it's going to be, I'm going to want warm food. But I don't know if I still feel the same way, although I haven't done it in the winter yet. So good for you. And so Lisa says, to follow that, I want to see how it makes me feel. Oh, okay. Yeah, I would love to hear, any feedback in that. So let's see. Janet is prepping for her potluck, which is great. And how do I say that? Scorpy. I'm so sorry. Okay, you haven't done it. Familiar with that doctor or protocol. Awesome. I am glad to hear it. So, okay. So recap of the previous update was last time at the end of the 3 weeks, I had shared that I had fully committed to the protocol, which I still am. And since then, I've remained consistent, which I just mentioned. And I feel like this has been very empowering for me. And I think her approach is very empowering because you have control and you are learning. There's so much to learn through her protocols. So just to recap, what is that? Maybe you haven't seen any of this. Maybe you haven't heard of her. So 64 ounces a day is what I try to do. It's usually what it makes of her green smoothie. And she's got, oh, I didn't bring her smoothie book out, but I do have one. And she's got lots of recipes for smoothies. And it's basically each day I make this, and it's half a cup of flaxseed and or chia. And those are seeds. I should have brought that out too. A pound of cruciferous vegetable. Ding, 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 ding. Those are all cruciferous vegetables. And there's even more than what I put out today. So kale, broccoli, cauliflower, which I just pointed to, even spinach, which I have behind me over there, and some more kale. And so you can get it in bags or you can get it fresh. It's really what works for you. And then we do some fruit. And so I've got berries here. There's a pear, and there's some pomegranates. You could do apple. I do a lot of mango, but it's a percentage. So you probably already know that. But so basically a pound of cruciferous, and then 25 ounces or so, or 25% of your container is fruit. And she uses fruit like a condiment, which I thought was a really kind of cute way to do it. Now, if you've watched me before, I say that I'm sos-free, salt, oil, flour, alcohol, sugar-free. Well, on her protocol, I have been doing a little bit of salt, and I've talked about that. I struggled with it a little bit, but I have been doing it now. And the reason why is because in addition to the smoothies, which I also add a little bit of salt, I'll tell you about the salt and water, of course. There's other things that I add that are not on her protocol, like a little lemon lime. Sometimes I do turmeric, a twist of pepper, a little bit of garlic, things like that. And I do that to activate the turmeric, the black pepper. But the reason why I decided to go ahead and follow her instructions about the small amount of salt is because of the quantity, the gallon, the enormous amount of water that we're drinking on this protocol. And she says that you can flush out, a mineral like salt and sodium getting low can cause stroke, and it can cause all kinds of bad things to happen if you flush too much out. So I didn't feel good earlier on one of the days, and I have started to listen. I do about half of the amount in the salt in my smoothie. And then if I feel like it throughout the day, if I have a little Bragg's liquid amino, which is right here, or an olive or a couple olives, then I feel like that's the rest of it. And so I've been enjoying that. And that water, for me, I'm doing about 110 ounces a day, huge salads, all kinds of veggies. And she wants you to do, in addition to that, another half pound of the other vegetables. Avocado is a free-for-all. Have as much avocado as you want, which I do. I have been eating sometimes 2.5 avocado in a day, and I am enjoying it. I really love it. And then I'm also been enjoying recipes out of her cookbook. And I'm hoping that, as we progress here, that we'll be able to do a couple, at least one, but I have 2 in mind. So let's see, did anybody else add to? Nope. Okay, so we're good. So what I've learned so far, and changes that I have made. Well, I just mentioned about the salt, but I recently learned about the iodine. Iodine is something else that is on her protocol that we didn't talk about, and that is a really important piece of what she does. So after learning that people with thyroid issues, like me, may benefit from taking iodine, no endocrinologist who handles the thyroid or any kind of primary doctor or anybody has ever said to me, pay attention to your iodine. So it's interesting that she says you want to pay attention to your iodine, and you want to keep it separate from the cruciferous. Well, I have been putting my iodine in the smoothie. And the way that I've been doing the iodine is I've been doing it through some dulse. I already had the dulse. We figured out based on what the package in nutrition facts are, how much I needed for per day. But she recommends getting iodized salt and doing a certain amount so you get them both. At any rate, Dr. Goldner explains that compounds in cruciferous vegetables right here can interfere with the iodine absorption. And I was like, no, because I just figured this out. But hey, that's okay. That's why I wanted to share with you. She said it's crucial for thyroid hormone production. So I've started taking my dulse, my iodine, with foods like cucumber, which I don't have here, avocado, which I pointed out, adding it to my, instead of adding it to my smoothie. In fact, this morning, I even had it with a piece of fruit. I had it with banana, and I had the amount, and I thought, this is really weird that I'm just eating dulse. I wouldn't recommend that. So I was placing it originally into my smoothie, and when I heard Dr. Goldner share that people with thyroid issues like me have problems with the digestion and should separate it, she said that when it comes to thyroid, the most important nutrient is the iodine, because that's what our body uses to produce thyroid hormone. She also says if your iodine levels are low, which I don't know that I've had iodine levels checked specifically, but she says if your iodine levels are low in your blood, then you will have a high level of TSH, which is thyroid stimulating hormone. And that one I have had checked many times. And she says the TSH is how your body asks for more hormone to be made, more thyroid hormone. So the TSH test measures the amount of the thyroid stimulating hormone in your blood, and the TSH is produced by the pituitary gland. So it prompts the thyroid to make and release the hormone in your blood. Now, if you're not familiar with the pituitary gland is a very small, little tiny, looks like the size of a pea. It has a huge job. It fluctuates and helps all the hormones. And it sits in the brain at the base, in between the eyes, right in the center of the head. And why do I know that? Because I had a tumor in my pituitary gland, and I had it surgically removed. And fortunate for me, I only had to have half of it removed in this little teeny tiny, and the other half has taken over for the full job. And so I feel very blessed, but I thought it was interesting that I have a thyroid problem, and I had a tumor in my pituitary, and they go hand in hand. So there's a couple things I'm going to try to say that I heard from her. So there are some important nutrients that are found in cruciferous vegetables that she said. So I'm going to try to pronounce these properly. Something called glucosinolates. And if I am saying this wrong, well, feel free to correct me. So glucosinolates, which is a sulfur-containing compound that's found in the cruciferous vegetables that gives them their pungent smell and a little bit of a bitter taste. And that's something that you would find in that. And then, so they take that and convert it, that is converted into thiocyanates. Another hard one that Dr. Goldner says so beautifully. Which can sometimes then interfere with the absorption of iodine. But she also says that if the iodine levels are low, then you're going to have lower levels of absorption. I don't know why, but I thought that was interesting. She goes on to explain that thyroid hormone is literally, and I'm quoting her, your body's battery pack. And it's so important for function, for thyroid function, even for brain function. And so it's a lot more important than I ever knew. And I just can't believe that nobody in the medical sector that I've ever seen ever talked to me about iodine or the importance of it. And of course, now we're understanding that the amazing food, the cruciferous, can play a part in taking over and not allowing as much absorption. And so it's important that I think that I understand this so that I can get the benefits of both. So she was also saying of course, that's why many years ago they put iodine in the table salt. When I was a kid, I remember that iodized salt with the little umbrella lady on the blue Morton salt. And that's because society, at least where, in America here, people were always using a little table salt. It wasn't the way it is now where salt is overly consumed. But that way they were being sure that everybody got their daily dose of iodine, and then we didn't have a deficiency. So the most common cause of the low thyroid is Hashimoto's disease, and that's what I have. And it's also called an autoimmune disease. Here is her book, Goodbye Autoimmune Disease. She has several of them, and right here, right under my finger, above my finger, Hashimoto's. And so there are many autoimmune diseases that she deals with, and it's a lot of inflammatory stuff. So this is a great read, and we're going to talk a little bit more about it in a minute. So I just want to check the chat. We're doing good? Okay, good. So Hashimoto's, if you're not familiar with it, was named after the name came from the Japanese gentleman that discovered it. So they named it after him. But it will also cause your TSH, the thyroid stimulating hormone, to go up, and the thyroid hormone, to go down. So the glucosinates and thiocanates, how do you say that?
Thiocyanate.
Thiocyanate, yes. Those are phytochemicals. And what was interesting is a phytochemical is also a phytonutrient. So phytonutrients are something that we talked about a few weeks ago, if you remember, in another live, and you can watch that on my channel if you missed it. We said that phytonutrients, phyto meaning plants, plant nutrients, just as a recap, are found in food in the dark colors, the vibrant colors, and they're very strong antioxidants. And they help get rid of the toxins, and they help get rid of cancer cells, and they help our immune system stay strong. And these are important nutrients for cellular repair, for cellular function. And so she says that these cruciferous vegetables are also helping people with damaged organs, because she works with a lot of people that are in kidney failure and that have all kinds of problems, liver and other problems, So the damaged organs and the people with Hashimoto's, they have a lot more trouble here. So she suggests not eat one or the other. She wants us to have the cruciferous vegetables. I just told you how beneficial they are. But she says if you just do your intake of iodine separately from the cruciferous vegetables, if you're dealing with thyroid issues, then you can get the benefits of both. So I was excited. She just said to keep them about an hour or two apart from each other. So I actually reached out to her through social media and asked her a question specifically about me. I told her what I was trying to heal from, and I told her that I was adding it to my smoothie. I told her I was using the Dulse, and I just asked her what she thought I should do. Should I keep it separate? I already told her I'm far into this, and you know what she said? She responded to me, and I appreciated it so much. She said, separate it. So I started to separate it. So what I started doing was I started in the morning about an hour or two before I will have my smoothie. And this is a brand new thing for me. I just added it to things that I told you, like what I said. I, ate it with the banana earlier today, and that seemed to work. But if you don't want to do that, you could do this. I went and picked this up today. I haven't even tried it yet. And this, she also talks about. And so this is a liquid iodine. This is just one in my area. Nobody recommended this brand or anything. This says liquid iodine plus, unflavored, with potassium iodine and iodide. But in the back here, it talks about the other ingredients is purified water. So there's really nothing else in it. And for this one, a serving size is 3 drops. 3 drops is 150 micrograms. So she says if you don't have thyroid issues and you want to get your iodine, whether it's this way, the dulse, the iodized salt, whatever you decide is best for you. They even have these in like some kind of a supplement, like a capsule or something. You don't have to do the liquid, but you would want to do 150 micrograms if you don't have a thyroid issue. And if you do, she recommends for her patients, and I'm doing what she recommends right now, is 300 micrograms. So I'm going to try this. I haven't tried it yet. And, I shared putting the iodine in the drink because that's where I was and that's what I understood. And as I evolve and as I learn and as I try things, I share it with you so that you can decide what works best for you. And, because that's what we're all here to do, right? Support each other. So let's see. I want to talk. Let's just check the chat before we move on here. Hey, there's Gina. Hi, Gina. Thank you so much. Gina's our moderator. I love to see her with everyone else in the chat. And what is she talking about here? I think spinach counts as a leafy green and a cruciferous vegetables. Yes, it does. And that's why I have some right there in the bag that you can't really see. Cabbage as well, Napa cabbage, purple cabbage, green cabbage, all the cabbages, Brussels sprouts. So there's so many cruciferous vegetables. So, and anyways, so I'm going to move on. So going back to this book here, and she has another one, her original one called Goodbye Lupus. That one is her story, and it talks more in detail about the protocol. My choice in reads this time is the Goodbye Autoimmune Disease, because that's what I'm trying to heal from. And it talks not as in detail about all the steps, but it definitely goes over it. And then it talks a lot about the emotional connection. It's just crazy. So let me just talk about insights from her book. I also learned the importance of stress management. Who doesn't need to, well, I don't know very many people that don't have to worry about stress management and mental well-being, and the importance of it, because it actually heals your autoimmune. If you have it in check, it can also cause you not to heal, which is crazy to think about. But she says it's so important to eat the right foods, but your healing can be sabotaged if you don't balance out the mental component. Thoughts, and this is really true, thoughts affect our nervous system. And hinder our healing. I have sometimes thoughts, or I'm thinking about, something coming up. I don't agree with something, or I'm stressed about something. I can feel a physical sensation happen. In fact, my small fiber neuropathy sometimes will start to come up, and it's almost, it's almost gone. But, every once in a while, I'll just get a little tiny reminder. And I also can feel like agitated, my body language. And so I know that what's going on up here can affect the nervous system, and it can affect our healing. So it's not just as simple as write a recipe, follow the steps, and you're golden, at least not with autoimmune. So let's see. Google says spinach is not a cruciferous. Well, I know she eats a lot of spinach, and there's a lot of spinach in her recipe cookbook, and the Power Greens that has spinach in it. But hey, don't use spinach then if you don't want to. Use other ones. But Eat your cruciferous. That's what she says. Thank you, Lisa, for checking in and sharing it. Oh, so they're talking about it. Yes. So it belongs to a different family, Amaranthaceae. Amaranthaceae. Okay. Okay. All good things to learn about. Plant-powered peddler Janet says it packs a punch in vitamin A, vitamin K, and antioxidants. Although a great leafy, and it's a great leafy green. So Gina says Google sites say both yes and no. So there you go. You guys might be right. Cleveland Clinic doesn't list it. Yeah. So at any rate, we're just going to focus on whatever you want to, use as your cruciferous. I use spinach as a cruciferous. I think I've heard that, but hey, if you think that that's not the one. Kale, man, kale is a great one, and I know she talks about kale is like her number one. Broccoli, of course, and the other ones that we've already talked about. So I want to go back to here. I thought it was really fascinating to realize what the components of the mind and the body and the stress and the mental can play. I mean, I knew it, but I just never really put it together with it can actually halt your healing. So I've been working really hard to exercise, to work on my breath, and just trying to bring things down. Breathing for me and for most people is really soothing and helpful. I tend to exhale out the stress, and I always try to focus on my shoulders going down when I exhale, to get the right amount to sleep, to go to bed on time, to try to stop myself from feeling stressed. Those are the things that I do. And if I notice, okay, something's going on, I'm feeling stressed. Well, awareness is the first key, right? Being aware that something is not right. And so what I do is I try to take a step back and I try to talk to myself and ask myself the questions. What is going on right now? Why are you feeling this way? What are you needing, or what are you missing, or what's not right? And within myself, just try to figure that out, and then pivot or create a better space to go forward. So I also try to stay, which is really hard, I try to stay in the now. My brain does not always want to do what I want it to do, but I try to stay in the now, be present in the moment, and not allow my mind to go places, especially go places in my past, that don't serve me anymore. Why would I want to do that? So it keeps, I try to keep the future thoughts positive, and stay curious about things, and stay away from fear-based thoughts or feelings, because half the time it's not even true. I create stuff, right? I'm going on a trip. I'm so nervous. What if? Now I'm all stressed out. And looking back after the trip, wow, what a wonderful trip. Okay, maybe we had a hiccup here or there, but it was nothing like what I imagined. And so here, I did all that for nothing. So I try to work on that. And it's not an easy thing. I'd like to ask if anyone else has had that experience, or anything like it that you'd like to share regarding stress and mental health. So I've also been focusing a lot more on self-care. And last week I even stopped in the middle of the day. This was a very busy day. I had commitment after commitment. I just stopped in the middle of the day, and I went and I took a hot bath. Yes, I did. I love taking a bath. I'm a bath girl. I love it. I know not everybody's a fan, but I usually do it at the end of the day or earlier in the morning. I really like it at night because then I can soak for a long time, but not in the middle of the day. So that was like really kind of a treat for me. And I had put on some Tibetan music. I had just created a nice sanctuary for myself. And it was really great. Meditative music. It was fun. So does anyone else have anything that they're sharing, Todd, about their
No.
thoughts? No? Okay. So she also has another chapter, the important chapter on forgiveness and mindset. I'm just going to talk about a couple of the chapters, nothing crazy. So in her chapter of forgiveness, Dr. Goldner explains how holding on to anger can manifest as physical pain, which can hinder your healing. She emphasizes that forgiveness isn't about the other person. You know, you might think, oh, I'm so upset with that person because they did blah, 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 whatever time ago. Who is that hurting? It's hurting you. You know why? Because they might not even know that you're upset with them. So this is about freeing yourself, not about forgiving somebody for whatever. It's about allowing you to have forgiveness so that you can free yourself. And that was an interesting way to look at it. She says that when people are trying to let go of illness and pain, she finds that a lot of people are storing emotions of pain from the past. Isn't that crazy? And where's it storing? In the body. What are we trying to heal? The body. So that's crazy. She said that if you haven't released your emotional pain, then you can't release the physical pain. And pain comes from holding on to anger. And learn to letting go of all the anger can serve you in so many areas. Yes, in illness, but in so many other areas. It can really transform your outlook and the way that you see things daily. So so I thought that that was incredible, and I thought that it made so much sense. And I also think and thought that it's really hard to do for me, anyways. That's a hard thing for me to do. So I'm struggling with that. I'm trying, but it's it's sometimes exhausting to stay in the now, because it's easier when the mind kind of does this and then I'm off in these thoughts, and then the next thing I know I'm down this rabbit hole of I don't need to be here, this doesn't serve me anymore, so then I got to reel it back in. So that is pretty much what I want to say about that. So if you think about it, the only one that we spoke about that's suffering in this area of holding on is you. And when I say you, I'm not saying you, I'm saying she's saying you to me, if that makes any sense. So you're the only one, she says, holding on to the pain and dealing with the illness. So yeah, I want to make sure that I give everybody a chance to let me know, how do you handle your stress? Do you have a secret? Do you not handle it? Everybody, I'm sure at one point in their life that might be listening to this has stress. And I would really appreciate your input on this, because I think it's really important. So while I'm waiting to hear if anyone wanted to, oh, it looks like Jill had to leave for an appointment. Okay, bye, Jill. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I hope your appointment goes well and that you drive with plenty of time so that you are not stressed about getting there late. Right? So anyways, let me just look here. Lisa says, exercise is the way I deal with stress. Oh, excellent one. Yes, I agree with that. Exercise. So for you, what does that mean? Does that mean it helps you when you like sweat? I love sweating when I exercise. Or is it that your mind goes, maybe you have music playing, the endorphins from jumping around? I'd love to hear. Oh, and meditation also helps a lot. That is another good one. She's on fire today. She's got a lot of good input. Thank you so much. And if you don't know of one, you could say, I have stress, but I don't deal with it very well. And then instead you can, respond to, maybe you would try some of these in the comments, these suggestions. She also says, I love to hike and get out in nature. Another one. I mean, she's hot. She's hot, Todd.
Yes, that's true.
She's got exercise, meditation, and outdoors. I can't think of any Any other fantastic ones other than soaking in a hot tub, right?
Also a
I love
fantastic
it.
option.
Yeah, and I love all of those things too. So I get excited to see that. Um, anyone else, go ahead and add that in. But we're going to go back to this in the meantime. And there's another chapter on self-love and gratitude. And I just want to touch on that. So it's the last chapter that I want to bring up, her self-love and meditation chapter. She suggests a meditation, which is interesting because Lisa just brought that up. So this is what she says to do. And you might already do this, but she says, find a place to sit down, okay? Close your eyes and take a deep breath in and exhale out, okay? And when you exhale, she wants you to exhale out all your worries. Now, for me, that's my shoulder thing going down. And she says that she starts at her feet. And when I explain this, I tend to start at the top of my head. But you start at one end of the body. She says start at your feet. And think about each body part as you work your way up while you're in this meditative state. And what she wants you to do is focus on what your feet have done for you, maybe if they're not working anymore, or what your feet do for you, and work your way all the way up to all the parts. So I would start with the head. She started with the feet. And, the example would be like, what have my feet done for me? Well, first of all, they allow me to stand up for hours on end. They allow me to walk. They allow me to feel, to balance. And, for me, I didn't always have that when I was healing earlier on from my injuries and my small fiber neuropathy. I didn't have the same sense of balance. I couldn't stand. So, even if I were still in that place, which I'm so grateful that I'm not, but if I were, or if you are, you can think about the times when your feet served you well and work your way up all the way. Another example would be your stomach. A lot of people don't like the way their stomach looks. Oh, it's I don't know, it's flabby, it's this, it's that, it's the wrong color, I don't know, my belly button's too high. I mean, I don't know. But if you think about it, if you ever carried a baby, if you ever carried a fetus, that is the area, I mean, the uterus, but the stomach is affected, the skin stretched out and brought life. And wow, your body is amazing. So it doesn't look the same as it once did, but what it can do. Maybe that wasn't you. Maybe you lost a significant amount of weight. And now your stomach is, there has extra skin or whatever. But you can still love it and still look at it and still appreciate what it does for you instead of us sometimes judging it. And so you go through the whole process of meditation. And I just thought that it was really great. So it's allowing us to be reminded to love us just how we come. Loving yourself is so important. And this was a really beautiful opportunity to visit myself, and you can do it too. And I'd love to hear any feedback on that. So she also said, well, there are a lot of other chapters. The chapters tend to be very small. I'm not going to go over any more of them, but I will just say there are a lot of short chapters on self-care and creating sanctuary in your bedroom and in your space that you're in. Like we mentioned earlier about having good sleep and counting. She wants you to count your celebrations, which is really kind of fun. And she says, do it at the end of every day. I used to journal a lot, and I used to try to put like what I was grateful for. And I haven't done that in a long time. I think about it. I try to say it, but I don't recall calling it celebrations. So that makes me want to get up and dance. Okay, but she says write down at least 5 of your celebrations. And those could be at least 5 things that you think you've done well for the day or that made you feel really happy. And so yesterday I was thinking about what could I share if I was going to share some. And a few of them, reading them back today, I think are kind of similar. But I said my first one was, for me, where I am right now, one of my 5 things is to continue to work on my squat challenge and my push-up challenge. I have a squat challenge right now, and if you are interested in it, or if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can go to my website and sign up for it. But that's not the reason I'm bringing this up. It's just that I have brought myself from a place where I couldn't really do much. And now I'm able to do a lot. And I'm excited about that, where I am now. So that was my number one. My number 2 is I'm trying new and challenging ways to exercise and be curious. I even was doing that in the park months ago when I started walking on the play equipment and hanging from the monkey bars and doing the balance beam and all that kind of stuff. And while I'm sharing these, I'd love it if you'd share some. Do you think of any right now? Go ahead and put them in the chat. My third one is that if I'm not able to do an exercise perfectly, that I can still have fun with it. So what does that mean? Well, if I'm trying to do something and I need more balance and I don't have it and I fall over, so that's amazing. Why is that amazing? It's not a failure. It's the fact that I pushed myself to the point where I know, okay, I need to practice more. If I stay in this safe place, then that's not a growth for me. So it's okay for me to, have fun with it. So I fall over. Hopefully I don't get hurt, but and maybe it's funny, right? Maybe Todd sees it and he thinks it's funny and then we're laughing. I mean, so, bringing joy out of something that is a little bit challenging is one that I listed. I also listed listening in nature brings me joy. And so I try to make time to go outside. When I'm outside, I I can look with my eyes while I listen, but sometimes I will sit in the yard if I'm not walking. I'll close my eyes, or I'll just focus on the sounds of the birds, the trees rustling. If there are any cars going by, any sounds, and a lot of them that are nature driven sounds, it just feels so good. And by getting out, I also tend to get to have a little glimpse of my favorite bird, which is the hummingbird. And we saw a big black, I don't know, what is that, a big black, those hawks out here?
Could be a turkey vulture, could
No.
be a hawk,
I'm going to say a hawk.
or a crow.
Crow, a giant black bird,
Yeah.
going past me so close that I could hear a sound being made by the wings. Okay, if I don't allow myself those opportunities, I miss out. So that one is on my list. And then the last one is being comfortable knowing that I have everything that I need. Maybe not everything that I want, but I have everything that I need. I'm safe and I'm secure. And that's comforting. Has anybody mentioned anything?
No, now we're disputing crow versus raven.
Okay, I don't think it's a raven.
Colleen has joined.
Oh, hey, hello, Colleen. Thank you so much for tuning in. Yeah, I would love it if you shared how you share any of your celebrations from the day, and also how you handle stress or not handle stress. And so there's more. She goes on in other chapters that talk about motivation, that you are healing your mind, your body, your soul, and your spirit. And, I finished the book going, wow, I can do this. No matter what happens, I can do it, and you can do it too. No matter where you are, even if you're not doing this, take this information and apply it however it serves you. And then from there, we just looked at being grateful and feeling lucky, even when things continue in the world, maybe not to look, great, or it looks like the world is closing in on you. You can make the choice. It's your choice to feel gratitude. You can choose not to feel gratitude. You can choose to feel gratitude. And so if you choose gratitude, then it will serve you, I believe, in so many ways, especially the healing, but maybe more ways than you even actually know. So let's see. I'm going to share one more little part about her, and then I'm going to talk about what I'm going to do going forward. And I'm just checking the chat. It's so good to see everyone here. I hope that this is helpful. So anyways, conquering bad habits to master success. This is more than just a nutrition plan to follow. And it's more about learning about so much about yourself. I know for a fact I'm always learning about myself, but even this experiment for myself of this 6 weeks so far, I've learned a lot and I'm continuing to learn. Just had to take a quick sip of that. She offers advice that makes great sense to be aware of your thoughts and your actions that we talked about, and see if they're hurting you or are they helping you on your path to better health. So pondering some of the questions that she asked and not pushing myself to have all the answers. So in her book, on each chapter, and I'll just wrap up with the book part, which is most of it. She has this assignment at the end of some of the chapters, and she, has you do these assignments. And you can see I have my paper in here because I've been writing them and doing the assignment. Well, that one isn't, but here, see, I've got my paper. I don't know if you can see it, but it's some writing on there. And, it's okay if I don't have the answers to everything. It's okay if you don't either, but pondering it and trying to see what you come up with, keeping it light, being curious. Those are all things that I'm trying to do during this journey that I've been enjoying. And so we need to remember that, like Dr. Goldner says, healing takes place from the inside out. And I believe that to be true. So going forward, I want to share my plan going forward. And I also want to answer any questions that come up. So going forward, I'm going to finish out this week, which for me, week 6 ends tonight and week 7 starts tomorrow. I am going to be getting my blood drawn towards the end of the week and have it looked over with my medical team. I know sometimes they say anywhere from 7 to 10 business days, and then I have to get in for, talking about the results and a plan. And after I decide with them and based on my results, after that decision, then I'll have a direction as to where I go from there, and what my options are if anything changed. I hope things have changed. I hope I get to deliver some good results. And if there's more work to be done for me, which I wouldn't be surprised since, I just now started doing the iodine correctly, for example, right? If there's more work to do, I want to continue to choose how I want it to be. And I want it to be beautiful, the path. I want it to be ongoing, and I want it to be healing, and I want it to be for well-being. So I absolutely love my life. I love my body. I love my abilities. I love dancing. I love laughter. And so I hope sharing it with you inspires you as well. And I don't take it for granted. I don't take it for granted. I know that it can, it cannot be here. I've been in a place where it wasn't. I put myself there mentally, right? But I climbed out of it, and I know you can do it too, wherever you are. So we could do this together, and I'm here for you in any way I can be. And I also just want to say that it's little baby steps for me, anyways, one step at a time. So I can do that now. I wanted to make a couple things for you guys. I want to see if we have any questions, and then maybe I can make a couple things. Okay, so her other book that I've been using a lot of, that I talked a little bit about, is The Goodbye Lupus, Hello Delicious. She's got a couple recipes on here. I thought we would make two things, both cauliflower-based things. The first one is on page 65, and it's a cauliflower risotto. So let's do that. And let me just put this aside. And I would love to have any comments, anything going on that you can share, Todd. I'm just going to move this out of the way.
No.
No.
Deborah Barr has entered.
Hey, hello, Deborah.
Colleen is here.
Yay. I love it. I love seeing everyone. So I'm just going to take this. Thank you all for being here. Just a regular bowl. And I'm going to take a sip of my smoothie. And what she says to do, or what's in the recipe, is you take cauliflower. These were chunks of cauliflower. You take the head of cauliflower, of course, you want to clean it. And the recipe says put it in the food processor and really get it to be like that, so it looks like rice. Well, this isn't a huge amount, so I just went ahead after it was washed and cleaned and chopped it myself. And so there it is. It's, there are a couple pieces that I could have probably made a little bit smaller, but that's okay. And so we've got the cauliflower in the bowl, and then we are just going to start adding stuff to it. So I've got some chopped tomatoes, and you can choose to chop them as small, or even keep them whole. I just kind of cut them into quarters. And then in here, I have some purple onion and some fresh basil. Here's some more fresh basil. I love that. And I've got a couple slivers of lemon, which I'm going to put aside. You can cut this up any size you want, but look at how the colors here, even in this, they just pop. So I'm putting the basil in there. I'm putting the onions in here, just dumping that all in there. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And then I want to add an avocado, because you can, like we talked about, eat as much avocado on this as you want. So I already washed it. Yes, I did wash the outside of this avocado, and I'm just going around carefully with my knife. I am going to do that. And then I'm going to grab a smaller knife and a spoon, and I'm just going to scoring it inside. I'm not pushing through it. I'm staying right inside the skin, and I'm just cutting it up. You could do it in slices. You could do it like I'm doing it, where it's like little, kind of like diced. And then I'm just going to take a spoon, and I'm just going to scoop it out just like that. Dump it right in there. And you can just do half, or you can do the whole thing. I think I'm going to do the whole thing. So I'm just going to, this is a really, this avocado is really ripe. So I'm able to just push from the back right there, pop this out. So I don't have to worry about cutting my fingers up or doing anything crazy that can happen with avocado. And I'm just going to cut this up. Oh man, I don't know about you, but I'm hungry. So this is really good. And hopefully you could still see this. And I'm just going to add the other half of avocado. You don't have to use the whole thing. We could even just do like 3/4 and save some for later. Maybe I'll do that. All right. And then we're going to take some cumin. So I've got a little bit of cumin, just dumping that in there. And I'm going to take some lemon, put a little lemon juice in here. I have lime. I could have used lime, but it calls for lemon. And I'm just squeezing that best I can. I'm going to do both sides of this lemon to give it nice liquid aminos, just a tiny bit. That's this one. That is a soy substitute, so like soy sauce. And I'm just going to pour that little bit in there. And then I'm going to just stir it up. How simple is that? Where is here they are. And I'm going to move this out of the way, because I really want you to be able to, maybe I should move this back here. 1 second. Sorry, guys. I just want to be able to have some space for you to see what's going on. And then you just give it a toss. Coat it with the cumin, the lemon, and the Bragg's. And there you have yourself a beautiful, quick and easy cauliflower risotto. Oh my gosh, doesn't that look good? You could double it, triple it. So I wonder if anybody's, you know what? It's not in the recipe, but I think I'm going to do a little cracked pepper. Why not? Why not? Do a little cracked pepper. And I also had showed you that we had these 2 little lemon pieces. So you could, if you want to serve it pretty, you could do that. And there we go. There we go. So what do you think? I think it's time to taste it. And then we'll see. Do we have enough time to do one more recipe, Todd?
We do.
Yay. So let me just check the chat and take a bite. Now, I like the onion long like this. Todd likes it chopped up. So however you like it. But I do want to try to get a little bit more in this bite. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my gosh. That's great. That is very, very flavorful. Actually, I taste a lot of the cumin. And there isn't that much cumin in it. Oh my gosh. Okay. Darn it. I have to set this aside. Yummy. Okay. So I'll put this aside and eat that when we're done. Okay. So anything going on in the chat here?
There's a few things. Natalie Dixon's here.
Oh, hey, Natalie Dixon. Welcome. So good to have you. I love how open you and others are to try different things on the journey to health, says Deborah Barr. It's inspiring. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And I try to really tell it how it is because it's not always pretty. It's not always easy, but you can do it. We can do it. Just keep going. Just keep being curious and keep loving yourself. That's what I'll say. And let me just see if there's anything else here. Gina says it was easier than I thought it would. I want as strict as Jennifer and Dr. G. Oh, I wasn't as strict as it doesn't matter. But I only ate fruit and veggies. Nice surprise. No, to yourself, right? So good for you, Gina. You are doing wonderfully. When we try, that's fantastic. And if you're successful, great. If you're not, try something again. See what didn't work for you. But don't give up. Don't give up. So I just want to say that. And then we have Gina saying, since I saw Jennifer's trick with removing an avocado seed, I don't smack it with the knife anymore. Yes, much safer. Good, I'm glad. Okay, so let me make space to do the last recipe, which is really quick. And it is another cauliflower recipe. It's her cauliflower carrot banana nice cream on page 131. Todd, would you grab a couple of things for me? Okay, and I'm just going to grab this. And I'm just going to quickly blend it up. So you get your food processor. You don't have to use a food processor. You can use an Instant Pot. Well, that would not make it nice cream. You can use the Vitamix, but I'm going to use the food processor. Okay, so here we go. And this is what we're going to do. I've got the S-blade in it. I've got a few things here. Hopefully you can see everything. Got the S-blade in the food processor, and I'm going to go ahead and plug it in. I wonder if anybody's made either of these dishes before, or if it sounds like something you would make. So I have the cauliflower. It came cut up. I bought the bag at Costco. So if you don't have it, if you have the big one, just chop it up into smaller pieces, and just put it in here. This was refrigerated, and it says use fresh. I actually was thinking, why not use the frozen riced cauliflower because this is going to turn into an ice cream. But I haven't tried that yet, so I don't know. Then what we do have here in this bag I put are some frozen bananas. So I've got 2 frozen bananas. I'm just going to go ahead and put them in here. And then I also have some carrots that I cut up, and these are also frozen, and I'm going to put frozen carrots in here. So this is going to be interesting, and I haven't tried this yet, so this is going to be fun for us. And then I have a couple more things. One, I'm using plant milk. Use any plant milk you want. Make sure that it's unsweetened. That's what I do. And I think that they might even use a vanilla, unsweetened vanilla flavor. I don't buy that one. I buy the unsweetened. So if I want a vanilla flavor, I might add vanilla bean powder. And you could do that too. And so go ahead. We're just going to add a little bit of the liquid. And then we have some pumpkin pie spice and some cinnamon, the Ceylon cinnamon. It's ground up. I have them both in here together, and I'm just going to go ahead and dump that. And then that's it. So let's see if we can. I'm going to go ahead and do it. I have to. I've been using these and mostly for the Vitamix, but I'm going to use them here. Save my hearing. Here we go. Start. And you can dance and get your groove on. Yeah, baby. Let's do this. Come on. Oh my gosh. This is great. This is great. This is great. This is great. I don't know if you hear me or if you hear this, but I'm making up my own music. And I think it needs a little bit, I'm going to take these off, a little bit of a helping hand from the spatula, but it's looking good. I'm going to stir it up a little more. Now, if you want to use the Vitamix, it'll probably make it even more pureed. I also think that this is also would be good in the NutriBullet, which makes it more creamy. So let me put these back on really quick and see if we can get this a little creamier. Go. I've got my little ice cream bowl. Okay, I got my bowl out and I wasn't really grooving the way I like to, but this is better. I think we could go longer, but for time's sake, I'm just going to stop it now and show you what it looks like. Let's give it a taste and put it in this little ice cream, this little bowl I have. It looks like an ice cream or a nice cream, as we say, so it doesn't harm. And there you go. That's what it looks like. And it smells like banana. So I'm just going to take a little scoop out of here. And I think that I would go ahead and make this creamy, smoother. This still looks like it needs some blending to me, but you know, we're out of time. So you could also put it in the freezer if you wanted it a little bit more frozen. And let me see where my spoon is. Here we go. It's the avocado spoon. So I'll just eat the avocado, but here we go. Let's try it. All right. Oh my gosh. Nothing surprises me. All these delicious flavors. This tastes really good. There are pieces in it. So like I said, if I had a little bit more time, I would continue to get it nice and creamy by just mixing it up more. And maybe the food processor isn't the right appliance. But I think what I'm going to do is move it over to the NutriBullet and really cream it up. I hope you guys enjoyed hanging out with me. And so don't forget to eat your greens. Take care. Give plants a chance. And Todd is asking me to look in here for a minute. So I need to get Dr. Goldner's recipe book. Can't call it a cookbook. Oh, Deborah says, that's a very good point. Did you put a link in here for her, honey?
I did not.
Oh, why don't you do that? Hi, John Jew. Just taking an extra minute to read the chat before we sign off. Oh yeah, the hour thing. I'm sorry about that. You got it. We're sticking with the AZ time, so hopefully next time. Gina, I use noise reduction earphones also, especially for Vitamix. Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's excellent. I saw Jessica Cricks do it in a video. Yes, Crocs. Yes. Okay. And yeah, so let me know if you guys try any of this. You can, even after the replay, you're always welcome to give us a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't. I'd love to have you subscribe with us, hit the notification bell. And if you have subscribed, thank you very much. So like I said before, don't forget to eat your greens. Be kind to yourself and give plants a chance. We'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone. Have a good one. Here you go.